How I deal with jealousy as an artist. Many artists, new and old, deal with jealousy in some way or another. After all, we all are human beings. And even if you're not exactly jealous of someone else, because being jealous is a strong feeling, instead, perhaps there's a feeling of inadequacy. And that could come from many things. Maybe you're jealous of how good of an artist the other person is. Maybe you're jealous of how successful they are, perhaps in comparison to yourself. Or perhaps you are just upset at yourself and your shortcomings, and you project that anger and negativity onto someone else. Well, I want to mention it's important to understand that knowing the root of your feelings is the first step. So I recommend you always take the time out to ask yourself, why do I feel this way? This level of self-insight is what allows me to personally push through these stages of negativity and allow myself to become a better person, which in turn can help me to become a better artist, at least in my own right. Because I believe the better we are as people, the better we can be as artists. Because in a way, art projects life, and the way how we live can show itself in our art in one way or another. But sometimes, even the greatest bit of self-reflection can't always help through these difficult times of jealousy. After all, every time you go on social media, for example, the person you are most jealous of is still there. And in cases like this, I think it's good to practice avoidance. Normally, when I was younger and I find myself in situations of jealousy, I simply do my best to remove whatever is causing this feeling out of my eyesight. Because, as the saying goes, out of sight, out of mind. So if it's simply an account on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, or whatever, a simple exercise of the mute button goes a far way. And if you want to go extreme, an unfollow or block is also an option, but I think muting them is better because it allows you to not come across aggressive towards that person. Because after all, in my case at least, I never hated them or found them to be toxic towards my well-being. Hell, half the time they are simply mutuals that I don't even know or interact with outside of liking and sharing each other's work. At the same time, that same person you are jealous of or hateful towards doesn't even know you or even view you in the same way. And I don't think you want to burn the potential friendships or work relationships you can build simply because you are bitter towards someone else's success or skill. Like, imagine how that would make you feel if it was you. There you are, minding your business, and someone pops up out of nowhere with this extreme hate towards you, which the block button or the unfollow button could represent on social media. Unfortunately, this is how the world is. And the reason they gave you for being so hateful towards you is that your simple existence and the way you succeed in life makes them angry and upset. And it's enough for them to dislike you and that they wish nothing but the worst for you. Now let me ask you, wouldn't that, even if it's just a little, make you feel some sort of way? If it does, then that's exactly how someone else might feel when you project that hateful energy towards them in the form of a block or a hate comment on social media. Especially when they didn't do anything wrong except minding their business and winning in life. It's not their fault you are unsuccessful in your practice. Learn to take responsibility for your own shortcomings and not to reflect and blame it on others. It's crazy to believe that this scenario can be real for so many of us out there, and there are many different approaches we can take to resolve this problem. But in the case of social media, it's better for you to mute that person, or if you're tired of everybody who seems to be doing better than you in general, then simply get off that social media platform and take some time off for yourself to reflect and feel better. And I think it's important to highlight the different levels of jealousy that one might feel. In Jamaica, we refer to extreme levels of jealousy and hatred as bad mind. This applies to somebody who, despite whatever they have going on in life, good or bad, can't stop wishing the worst for someone else in every possible way. The word you would probably use to describe someone like this is what is known as an hater. That's if you're familiar with American culture and slang. So for your sake, I hope the way you feel is not to this extreme level. I have never felt this extreme level. The most I've ever felt is perhaps inadequacy towards myself or anger when I see an artist who might not be as skillful as me and many others succeed far greater than I myself could imagine. But that's something we will talk about later in this video. So, avoidance is a good method to protect your energy or your mental. But as I got older, I've come to understand it's not the best approach to jealousy that works for me. Even though it can prove effective from time to time, it's not something you can always rely on if you're trying to grow on social media platforms in hopes of one day having an art career. You can't always run from these platforms. They are what you use to get your work seen by the people who love it. And as such, you can't always avoid seeing people who are doing better than you. And that's where I developed the mentality of whatever I perceive to be true, then therefore it is true. In a simple sense, what I mean by this is, whatever success I see from other artists, whether that might be skill or financial success or any form of growth, I understand I can perceive it in two ways. I can be inspired by it to do better for myself and understand whatever this artist has achieved, I can do it too with the right amount of time, practice, strategy, whatever. Or I can be demotivated by it. I can allow it to rob me of my motivation, my drive, my determination, and just my overall peace. But as I got older, the more the second option sounds absolutely crazy to me. Like, imagine this. Somebody you don't know and they don't know you are simply just living their lives, minding their business, and you allow that simple act of living to ruin your day. You look at their skills and feel bad about your own. You look at their success and feel bad about your lack thereof. You look at their life and feel bad about how terrible yours is. And I get it completely, man. I'm just like you after all. And I feel this way every single day. I don't have the greatest upbringing. I've always had it rough, and I still very much do to this day. I go through a lot of mentally draining things on a daily basis, just like you do. And oftentimes, I would dread waking up the next day to go through it again. And just like you, I go on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and I see all the winners, the people who the algorithm have deemed worthy. And I feel inadequate when I see an artist making $3,000 per month off of, Patreon subscriptions, why I only make $3. Or when I see an artist so skilled that they get a dream career they want working at Riot Games, while I'm still trying to carve out my dreams and make sense out of nonsense. Or when I see an artist so smart that they beat the YouTube algorithm and get millions of views when I struggle to even get 1,000. But that's where the mentality I've just mentioned earlier comes in handy. I try to perceive things in a more positive way than that of the negative. So what I tell myself these days is that I can use this as inspiration to let myself know that anything is possible and I can make it too. Or I could sit here and give up because things are not how I want them to be and feel sad about it. The choice is yours. For me personally, I'd much rather keep going knowing that I could become something amazing rather than stop and become nothing. So even though I might not have the best environment to develop in, or I might not have the financial means to do all the amazing things I want to do, even though my skills are far from perfect, I have accepted what I've been given and I've learned to love it. Which is my last point, acceptance and gratitude. You see, in this life that we live, there will always be someone better than you in some way. But you'll never be happy until you learn to love yours. Shout out J. Cole. So even though you might not have 10,000 followers like the other artists, but instead you have 1,000, maybe 100, or maybe even 10, heck, maybe even just one, it's still important to love what you got and be grateful. Grateful that God has given you these opportunities to do better and become better. Understand if you're starting from zero, then the sky is the limit. You can only go up from there. And if you really want it, then through the right work, persistence, dedication, and discipline, you can have it. This is what most of the artists we see and are jealous of had to go through. And even though some might get lucky, it's important to not base success off of luck alone. It takes a lot of work and calculated thinking to make a career out of anything artistic. YouTuber, illustrator, animator, whatever. And everyone's journey is different. What might make me a success might not do the same for you, and vice versa. So if the other artist makes $3,000 per month while you make zero, then understand that the artist you are jealous of is an example of how you can do better and achieve the same too. Stop complaining and study what they're doing. Study what worked for them and try and figure out how they did it. Whether that be on YouTube, Instagram, Patreon, or whatever. Take inspiration, not demotivation. And lastly, along with an honorable mention, I've learned to accept the circumstances that I've been given in life, and I try to build from what I have. Where that might be by acquiring new skills or things to help me build the life I want, or using what God has already given me to get as far as I possibly can. And I accept that God has a different timing for everyone. And when it's your time, it's your time. And absolutely nobody can take that from you. And the honorable mention being, stop comparing your time, your current moment, or your current situation to others. Stop comparing your skills and your life to others. Just keep focus on yourself and try to be a better version of yourself every day. If it's possible, at all times, you feel inadequate, compare yourself to yourself and see how far you've come. And trust me, even if it's just small, there will be some level of improvement there. It's a matter for you to be grateful and count that small improvement as a win despite how small it is, and keep stacking those small wins until they can become big ones. And yeah, that's gonna be all from me. Sorry if this video was a bit longer than I planned or you anticipated, but this is something that's coming from my heart, and it's something I struggle with every day. And I figured as much, if I can share it in its fullest capacity and I will be able to help somebody, then by all means, that's enough for me. And there are many points I've missed or didn't even explain properly, because this was primarily off the top of my head and I want to be as genuine as I possibly can be, so my thoughts might not be organized properly. But that's where you come in. Share with me in the comment section how best you handle situations like this where you feel jealousy or envy towards another artist. Perhaps you could be grateful about what you have, not only because you have an opportunity, but because other people out there don't, right? I have this opportunity to have a YouTube channel and talk to you guys, talk to you. Other people are still struggling right now to even get a single subscriber or to even get 10 subscribers. So always put into perspective. What you're going through, what you call a big problem, someone else has got it worse. And if you're new here, subscribe to the channel and turn on post notifications so that you never miss a video whenever I upload on a Friday or Saturday. Check out Patreon, as it can really help support the channel and the art that I make. But with that being said, thank you so much for watching, and as always, happy drawing. I'm watching you from afar and I'm rooting for you. Peace.